Continuing on with the neck, it's time to start the inlays. Before this can happen, the fingerboard needs to be flattened and radiused. To do this, I used my low angle plane and a set of radius templates. I went for a conical radius where the first fret has a radius of 12 inches and the 24th has a radius of 20 inches. The fingerboard was also checked for straightness across its length. I centered some mahogany in the 4-jaw chuck of my lathe and then turned the material down to 5mm. I also repeated this process for the 2mm side dots. A good trick for locating the fret dots is to draw 2 lines from corner to corner of the fret slot. For the 12th and 24th frets, this is done twice as there are 2 fret markers. To drill the holes, I used a 5mm brad point bit and a hand drill. This could also be done in a drill press, but this requires much more time to set up. I mixed some ebony dust and Type Bond to glue the fret dots. The ebony dust helps eradicate any imperfections. The stick was then cut with a small saw. The excess material was made flush with the fingerboard using files and chisels. After all the dots were taken care of, I drilled the tuner holes. I first drilled the whole way through with a 3mm brad point bit, and then drilled from either side with the 10mm bit. This takes a bit longer than simply drilling all the way through with the 10mm bit, but greatly reduces the chance of tear out. To ensure a completely flat fingerboard, I use a leveling beam. I choose to level at this point as the neck is pretty much at its final form, so there is no risk of the wood releasing any tension. It is also good to have the fingerboard completed before sanding, as you can get a much better idea of the shape of the neck. This technique of sanding the neck is one of my favourites. It will remove all of the high spots and give you a perfectly symmetrical neck. Volute carving is one of my favourite things in guitar making. I start off with a large gouge and then clean up with a curved scraper and sandpaper. The volume, tone and control knob was drilled out in the same way as the tuners, again using incremental holes to avoid chip out. The last step in this video is final sanding. It's a pretty repetitive task and also self-explanatory. I sand my guitars up to 320 grit. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in plans for this guitar, they are available on my website. There is a link in the description.